All right, we're going to do some video notes today because I am not here, so I don't want to miss a day of instruction. So hopefully these notes kind of help guide you through what we're going to learn today, and then you can apply that to your assignment later on. We're talking about substitution, and thinking about sports, right? A substitution is when one person goes in for another person. And in math, it's much the same. So it's where one number will usually replace a letter. So like if we have the letters X, Y, and Z in a problem, they would tell us that X equals something, Y equals something, that Z equals something, and we can change those letters to actual numerical values, and use those to help us simplify. A couple of key things: we want to use parentheses when we plug in our numbers. That's always very important. That's going to help you, especially with like multiplication and exponents. It'll help you keep things with your signs and your integers straight. And the other thing that we want to make sure that we do is we want to follow order of operations. So anytime we simplify, order of operations is always the thing that we want to use. All right, let me change my color here. All right, so in substitution, they're going to give us values. So we've got that X can be changed to or replaced with 3, and then we've got that Y can be changed to or replaced with -2. So we're going to take those, we're going to plug them in. So 3 is going to go in place of that X, and -2 is going to go in for that Y. So if we look at how this works, we've got 4 from the problem. We're going to change X to 3. So there's where I want to use my parentheses to show that I'm changing X to 3. I'm plugging that in. Subtracting 2 from the problem, and then changing the Y to a -2. Again, using parentheses to show what I'm putting in. Lots of things you could do. 4 times 3 is 12, right? I should do the multiplication first. And I've got a subtraction sign. If you are a fan of like adding the opposite, that's great. So you could think about this as being plus -2 times -2, and -2 times -2 is a positive 4. And then if we do that, we end up at 16. Okay? So again, substitute, make sure you use parentheses, and then order of operations on your way down. So plug in 3, plug in -2, do the multiplication before you do any sort of adding or subtracting, and we end up at 16. All right, let's look at another one. Now they tell us that D is equal to 4, F can be changed to 3, and G could be substituted with 12. And we've got the expression below. So I've got 5 from the problem. D looks like it can be changed to 4, so put that inside of parentheses, plus parentheses from the problem. We've got a 6. F, they say, can be replaced with 3, so we'll put that in parentheses. And we're subtracting G, which is 12. So we can put that inside of parentheses. And then big parentheses to close it up from the original problem. So I should probably start with my grouping, so I'll keep 5 times 4 plus. Inside of the grouping, I could multiply, or I could subtract. So it looks like multiplication is where I want to go first. So 6 times 3 is 18, and 18 minus 12. Close up my grouping. So I'll have 5 times 4 over there. Ready to finish off my grouping. 18 minus 12 is 6, so I can write that in. And then the last thing that I want to do is take 5 times 4, right? Multiply before I would add, so 5 times 4 is 20, plus 6, which gets me my total of 26. If you show good work with simplifying, you should kind of make like a triangle each time. It kind of looks like a pyramid or something maybe. That's a great way to know or let yourself know that you're showing good work. Right, we start with a lot of terms in the top, and we just slowly work to reduce our way down to one single thing. So that's a good way, kind of a good visual to show or let yourself know that you're showing good work. All right, and then the last one that we're going to look at today, now we have A is equal to -2, B can be changed to 6, and then C can be replaced with 4. Parentheses is pretty important here. I'm just going to go right to the right. So A, which can be also written as -2, goes into my parentheses. And then the square, right, the exponent goes behind the parentheses. A lot of kids will want to include that inside of the parentheses. Only the number that you're plugging in this case -2, goes into the parentheses. After that, I have a grouping parenthesis, a 3. B can be changed to 6, so I'll plug that in. And then plus 5 after that. Close my grouping. And then my denominator, they want me to write as C, which can be changed to 4. Okay, scroll down a hair. Remember, order of operations looks like I'd go with the grouping in the numerator. So I'm just going to jump over here. So I still have -2 squared, haven't done anything with that yet. And then I've got this grouping of 3 times 6, which I'm going to rewrite as 18, plus 5. Close that up. Big fraction bar, 4 underneath. Going to go right next door. I've got an exponent right here. I've got grouping right there. Or I could do that, right? I can't really do anything with that 4. So probably going to work with the grouping in the numerator. So -2 inside of parentheses squared times 18 plus 5 is 23. And then still over my 4. Go next door. So now I have the opportunity to do an exponent, or I could multiply. And obviously, according to PEMDAS, exponent comes first. So -2 squared, or -2 times -2 is a positive 4 times 23 divided by 4. Kind of a cool thing happens here. If you have all multiplication in the numerator, right, we don't see a sign between the 4 and the 23. We can look to see if the 4 or the 23 could cancel with anything in the denominator. And maybe you've kind of seen right away that like we have a 4 right here, and we have a 4 right there. And since they're the exact same, and since the only thing that we have going on in the top or the bottom is multiplication, we can actually cancel out that 4 and that 4, and it leaves us with our answer of 23. Let's look at that last step, this last step right here on another slide and kind of look at it another way. So we're at 4 times 23 divided by 4. So maybe what you wanted to do is take 4 times 23. So if I work that out over here quick, 23 times 4, that's a 12, 92. I get to 92 over 4, but then look what I'm going to have to do, right? I'm going to have to turn around and divide both the top and the bottom by 4. 92 divided by 4 is 23. 4 divided by 4 is 1. And 23 over 1 is most simply written as 23. So you can see we get to the same exact spot. It's just a matter of if you want to do your division first, like we did in this problem, right, where we just kind of canceled it, or if you want to actually multiply that in, get 92, and then divide by a regular 4, excuse me. So either way, we get to 23. Key thoughts, what I would say, make sure that you use parentheses when you substitute, and then be sure that you follow your order of operations. And also, you have to be really good with integers. That's kind of a weakness of ours right now. So we've got to work hard, be diligent, and try to turn that into a strength. All right, best of luck.